hear me. I do not know why I'm having all these problems tonight, but there you go. How do I get this up? How do I get it so it goes the right way around?
Hold on.
No, I want to turn this round. So
yeah, I know, but it says it's locked. This one,
I'm talking. Right, chaps, I think we're here. I don't know. This has been an incredibly stressful start to the night. Is anybody here? Ellen was going to be, then she's not. Now we are. We're here. Right, hold on. Just give me a second while I try and join this. Hi, Glenn. I don't know what happened tonight. It's all got very, very confusing. I'm just going to try and get my computer sorted so I can actually watch the channel. Because then I can read the live chat off the laptop instead. But I don't know what's going. And we had 7 people waiting, and now they've gone. But what can you do? You can't win them all. Anyway, there we go. Right, where is my chat? Open panel. There we go. Right, we're cooking on gas now. Maybe Ellen will join us. Jackstar, is this the new one or the old one? I've got no idea, mate. It's been technology has been trying to screw me up tonight, or screw us up tonight. Everything was set up, did everything the way I normally do, and it didn't work. And now I'm having to have the camera this way because everything's different. Jackstar, hey buddy. Glenn, hi. Hi, Jack. Hi, Glenn. Knit, hi. Knit. That's it's a bit Monty Python, isn't it? Was that neat? Jim Pentecost, yes, I'm here with Glenn and Jackstar. Hi, guys. Welcome aboard. That's very disappointing that we had I had more people waiting than I've ever been waiting before, and I let them down. So I can only apologise. What is the sound like, chaps? What have we all been up to this week? Have you had a productive week? Have you had a productive weekend? What have you fellas been doing? Glenn, Jupiter XLV. I can't. My Latin is no good. Nice boy. Well, there we go. I think I know where we're going with this one. Jackstar, mate, that vlog you did with the couple, I think was the best interview I've seen, buddy. Great couple. Really? No one watched it. No one watched it. They were a nice couple. I've not seen them since. I think they've gone now because they were talking about coming to the quiz on Thursday night, but they didn't come. Jim, sound is good. But you never commented, Jack, so I didn't think you'd seen it. Yeah, they were a nice couple. I don't know if the Philippines is going to be for them, to be honest with you, because they're blown away with it, but they've not been anywhere else. Personally, I think they'd be better off in Thailand or Cambodia, probably Cambodia. But what do I know? I've been wrong before. I may be wrong again. Jim sound is good. Glenn sound is good. Knit sound is good. Microgreens. Hello, folks. Hello, Microgreens. I think you're a new one as well, haven't you? I don't think we have met before. Welcome. So this is the thing. When the camera is this way, it doesn't give you the information along the lines of how many are watching, etc. That's why I didn't know before. But I can see here now, we've got 24 watching, which means we're on a roll. Like ham and tomato, we're on a roll. Welcome, everybody. Around 1,000 watched Asher and Partner. Did they really? That's not what my YouTube channel tells me. It's around the 700 mark. But I think the sound was part of the reason, because it started off really well. The first hour it got a lot of views, and it just died down, which I think is my fault for the sound, because silly me, I had never interviewed. I only interviewed a couple once before, and that was over at the Kingswick, and I never used microphones. This time I only got 2 mics, and there were 3 of us. So I gave them the 2 mics. I think it was hard to understand what I was asking them. I wasn't that impressed with the sound, maybe different devices, but I think that's why we lost a lot of people. But I'm only guessing. Plus, I'm no good at the thumbnails. Microgreens James Cook. Does that mean Microgreens you are James Cook? Or are you referring to James Cook? Source code, good morning, Squire. Hi, mate. Jupiter, he is a young version of Bricktop. Source code Bricktop. Well, there you go, you see. We have some attempts at trolling going on. I thought there might be. It was only a matter of time. Neil Michaels, aye, looking sharp, haircuts today. Take it you found a reliable ladyboy. Yeah, I did find a reliable. Found a new hairdresser. I will tell you about him in a minute when I've caught up with the rest of the chat. Glenn, the famous James Cook, ? No, that guy I interviewed the other week was James Cook, the Scottish guy from Glasgow who moved to America. Source code, no trolling. Well, there you go, mate. I do apologise if I jumped to a conclusion. It was just, I'm sure the other little fella is. But good to know. Glenn, my bad, Asher was 7:19. Yeah, I thought it was, which is low for an interview. But half of it's the thumbnails and the sound was poor. They were a lovely couple, as Jack has rightly said. Source code Bricktop from Snatch, LOL. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I've seen Snatch many times. Trying to think what the name of the actor is now. Brilliant. Played the Cockney Thug on that comedy show. But yeah, I can't. What was his bloody name? Anyway, yeah, I know what you mean. Trouble is, you've joined the same time as someone else's who's trying to wind me up. So I assume maybe you were a double act. You and friends, are you the sniper guy? You will have to enhance on. You'll have to expand on that. Microgreens, yes, it's me. Good to see you, everybody here, and thank you, Glenn, for your kind comment about my renovation. Much appreciated. So, where are you, James? Where are you now? Did you make it to Cebu? I was going to message you and find out if you got there in the end, because you were Alan Ford. You were potentially going on a I was worried about you getting over to Loloan and having to wait for like days without getting a trike or a thing to the next city. Yeah, you and Francis, you're going to have to expand on that sniper guy comment. You've lost me. Source code, we've established that is Bricktop. Alan Ford, I'm terrible at this, aren't I? Yeah, it might need to be Ash Ford is the Alan Ford is the actor. Yeah, Alan Ford. That is it's exactly right. Great actor. I think he's dead now, isn't he? I may have got it wrong. He was brilliant on Alan Partridge as well. He's been in loads of things, but he made that movie, Snatch. Bricktop made that movie. For me, anyway. Everyone keeps saying about Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt was fantastic, and he should have got an Oscar for playing Mickey. But to me, Bricktop, immortal. I think. No, you're damn right. It is Alan Ford. Yeah, definitely. Jupiter has confirmed it was Alan Ford. Brent's tripping. Good evening, Simon from Oklahoma. Hey, Brent. How you doing, brother? I'll send you another message later, because when you messaged me earlier on and you were saying it was none of my business what was wrong with me. No, I'll tell you, mate. There's a reason why I haven't gone. But yeah, no, I'm an open book, mate. But thanks for the kind wishes or the concern, and I am very happy to see that you're getting so much better, and amazed you're joining live streams. My God, that first video you did, you look like death warmed up, but you're already posting things on Facebook, and I tell you, you're stronger stuff than me, mate. But welcome, Brent. Jupiter, the young Alan Ford. Asher interview was spoiled by traffic noise, but still enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily bothered by the traffic noise. I think it was my microphones. But I hear you. I know you said that in the comments. Monkey Run 82. Hi all. Hello, Monkey Run. Ewan Francis from the game. I tell you what, I'm going to struggle with this, chaps. I had all these technical difficulties. Anyone who watches this channel will know I am not the sharpest tool in the box. So people are giving actors references. I'm getting bloody confused here trying to keep up with the comments. And the sniper from The Game. I don't think I've seen The Game. You'll probably expand on that, and I think, oh yeah, it's my favourite movie or something. But at the moment, The Game is not ringing any bells. Glenn, James, my pleasure. The Plastered Finger. Hi, how's the doggy from Sunday morning? Well, yeah. I do not know is the answer to that one. I climbed over the wall to find out what he was doing, and he'd gone inside his house, and I couldn't see anything. And when I came back in, and I was like, "Stay out of this! You can't get involved in it." You know, I don't know, but I've got a feeling I don't know, and I don't want to delve any deeper. I don't know what he was doing over there, but it did not sound nice. And he came back in, and as I say, I'd had it by that stage, so I need to cut my hands trying to pull myself up on the wall to see what was going on because he's got glass over there. But he'd gone inside then, and I couldn't see anything. But I hope this is anyway. Hopefully, I got it wrong. Hopefully, I will never find out, and hopefully, I don't have to think about it again. I cannot abide cruelty to animals. Micah Green's now in a condo on the 28th floor of Avida Towers in Cebu. What do you think of Cebu then? Could it be for you? I know you've been there before, but did you make it to Mobile? Glenn, wow, Brent's here celebrating chat. LOL. Yeah, he's made a tough stuff, Brent. I am amazed that he was so active because we're friends on Facebook. I mean, some of you might be. I don't know, but the point is, after finding out he was sick and looking awful, he's banging out the Facebook posts and all the rest of it, and then he's banging out videos and that. And you know, good God, that first video, I tell you, if I felt as bad as he looked, I don't think I would. Well, I said I think you're made of stronger stuff than I am because I'll be too busy feeling sorry for myself in the hospital to be doing social media. But there you go. The show must go on. Tomsko, aye, shepherd's pie, greetings from the UK. Greeting, Tomsko, greetings. Welcome to the chat. Plastered Finger, sorry, mate, didn't mean to upset you. No, mate, you haven't upset me. You haven't upset me. I just thought I have an unnatural ability to forget things I don't want to think about. So I'd kind of forgotten about that. Many moons ago, it would have bothered me, but it will go out of my head again now. But I don't know what was going on, but something bad was going on over there. I don't like that guy anyway. He had a go at Ellen many, many months ago. He's an arsehole. But I've never really had any contact with him. Neil Michaels, Brad Pitt, maybe Elijah Wood defo deserved an Oscar for Green Street. Elijah Wood. That's a bloody awful film. I had a season ticket when that came out, and when we went to other games, you'd have the other fans taking a piss saying Green Street elite. You know, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Green Street. There were so many better films about that aspect of football than Green Street, but there you go. Source code, Brad Pitt is Cockney slang. Right, there we go. The plaster, anyway. My comments have frozen up. And we're up to 30. That's a record. We've got 30 people watching and only one like. What is going on? I say I've only got one like, but I can only see on the that means 29 people don't like it. That's disappointing. And now it's 6. There we go. I've always wanted to get more people on the chat, but the more people on the chat, the harder work it is. Now I'm starting to wonder. Micah Greens, yes, I was in Mobile 3 days. Thought it was overrated, but okay. I share the same thoughts, mate. I was not impressed with Mobile. I've been there twice now, and I don't think. Well, I might go back. But if I went back, it'd just be for something to do. It's not a place for me. It's yeah, been to much better places than that. I think Sicky was better. Well, it depends what you're looking for. Microgreens, no, Cebu is not for me. Crazy traffic and people are not that friendly in my limited experience. Some people love it, but it's way too busy for me. Yeah, I am in complete agreement. say people, horses for courses. Some people like Dumagetti, some people like Cebu, some people like Manila. You know, each to their own. And I'm no expert on Cebu, but I've only been to City once, been to Mobile twice, Oslo. Just not for me. I'm much happier in Negros than I would be there. But, you know, each to their own. That is the reality. Allah loves wonderful variety. You know, we all like different things. If Jack's still there, I know he always asks me. I was talking to Ray earlier on. He's changed his name. I can't tell you what his new name is because he's changed it so his girlfriend doesn't find out what he's doing on social media. But he's doing very well. He is in Bali at the moment, but he may be coming back here. But he's enjoying life at Bali. He's not back with his girlfriend. He's single, so he says. And the reason he contacted me was to tell me because someone is going to ask me at some stage about my stalker. Apparently, if you believe the story, he passed away yesterday. So that's what Ray was messaging me or called me to tell me that my stalker had passed away. Which, if it's true, you know, there you go. Sad, but hey. But as I've said before, I don't necessarily believe it. But I'm not going to go past that. What other news have I got you? I was going to tell you that Brent had messaged me earlier on, and he is on the way to recovery and should be back here in a couple of months. But he's on the chat already, so people know that he's on the mend. I've got a bloody thing landed on me there. So I don't know what's happened here. I've got Glenn saying mine's showing 8 likes. Glenn saying, well, I'm glad you said condolences, I guess, because I was starting to worry that the chat feed had stopped working. Because often when it stops working, well, yours is showing 8, mine is showing 6. Anyway, listen, if people like it, they like it. I'm very grateful. If they don't want to like it, they don't have to. I don't want people to do things that they're not happy with. That's the way the world should be. You know, do what you want as long as it doesn't affect anyone else. Binderbar, Glenn, 12 now. Well, there you go. I'm going to stop. It keeps going up and down. I don't know. I've got one device here, one device there, one device there, and they're all telling me different things. But it's nice to know we've hit 31, which is a record. Right. So we got Luke Parsons. Hi. How now? What's going on? God, I'm being bombarded with them. Binderbar, 12 now. Luke Parsons. I don't like it, but I hit like anyway. Well, there you go. You know. Thanks. Very kind of you. And you can take it back at any stage. You know, later on in the evening, if you think, right, I didn't like him, you can take it back. I won't lose any sleep. But thank you. Hollywood, hi. Who did you say may have passed? I said the chap who was my stalker, who, if you've been with the channel for a long time, who I had problems with in Sikihor, apparently he passed away in his sleep last night in Canada and will be cremated later in the week. That's what I was talking about. I'm not going to mention his name. Brent's tripping, 12 likes. Hit the like button. God bless you, Brent. You're still there, mate. I mean, you're still there. Not as you're still there as you're still with us, but you're still there. Thank you. What is the hospital like? It looks amazing. You hear such horror stories about healthcare in America. But when you come back, you'll have to give me the ins and outs and like the deductibles or whether it was all free. I don't know. But it certainly looks nice. It certainly looks nice. And you look like you've been treated well. Glenn, 31 watching. I know it's doing all right, isn't it? Mike Thompson, what happened to the day next door? What happened to the day next door? I don't know what you mean, mate. Honestly uninterested. Hello, Mrs. Sexy Voice. Hello, uninterested. Never the same without you. I have to have someone to make me blush. Welcome. Luke Parsons. I'm just joking, of course. Well, I was joking with you, Luke. I wasn't sure if you were joking or not, but I was joking. Mike Thompson, dog next door. As I said just then, I don't know. All I know is I was hearing some very upsetting sounds, and it looked as I could see him hitting something. I thought he was doing something to it, so it's why I cut the live stream over. But then I went out to speak to him, and I climbed it. I couldn't get over it. I had to pull myself up, and he's got glass on this thing to see what was going on. And he'd gone in the house, and I couldn't see anything. So I think he's either taken a dog. Anyway, the point is, I hang around for like about 10 minutes. What was I going to do? Climb into his, you know what I mean? So anyway, I went and got Ellen and said, I want to go and speak to the guy, and she didn't want to get involved. And I don't know. There was no more sounds of dogs or things after that, so I don't know. But I'm hoping it was a thing, because I don't want to hassle. I can't sit there and watch something like that happening and not do anything. So I just hope to God it doesn't happen again. Because if I do go over there and do something, there's only going to be one winner, and that's going to be the Philippines. I mean, you can't cause trouble or get involved in something like this in a small area like we are. I mean, you know, when I say I'm not being tough, that I'm going to be a winner. I mean, it's like I'm going to end up getting kicked out of the country, aren't I? So I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't come to anything. Corn Pop. The worst part about hospitals in the USA is they don't segregate, and my buddy got a smelly packy in his room. Well, there you go. Luke Parsons. So what is Speaking of Asia all about then? Oh, that's a deep question. What I'm all about as a human being? It would take a long time to answer, and I haven't worked it out. It's about speaking about Asia, mate. It's about the community in the live streams. Setting the world to straights. Setting the world. I cannot speak. Setting the world to rights. Are you new to the channel, Luke? Do you not know what Speaking of Asia is? Assuming that you don't, it's just an old middle-aged man like myself just waffling, talking nonsense, marvelling in amazement that anyone's interested in what he's got to say, but reveling in every second of it because he enjoys talking. I'm very surprised that Brent's watching. What is the time? I suppose if you're in a hospital, you don't sleep that well, though, do you? Because I can't remember what the time difference is, but you must be a few hours behind in Oklahoma. But there we go. Jack Star, we have a good bunch of guys and girls and a chat, Luke. Yeah, that's basically what we do. We have usually a Tuesday night community, but this week it's a Monday night because I've got a quiz to do tomorrow night, so we've had to bring it forward. But Jack hit the nail on the head there, succinct and to the point. The channel is about Asia. Tuesday nights / Monday nights are about chewing the fat. So we have some brothers from America. We have a number of people from the UK. Jack Star top banter. Well, there you go. I like to think so, mate. But, you know, sometimes I might... I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but I think we have some good banter on here. Glenn Jackwell said, he's good, Jack, isn't he? He should have a channel. Honestly, uninterested, early morning in North America. So we have some septics online. We have a number of septics. We have, I think, all the rest are British. We've got no Aussies tonight. That's unusual. Luke Parsons, yeah, I'm new to the channel. I just got here randomly. Oh, well, mate, you haven't missed much, to be honest with you, in terms of the channel. This is just, this is just like a, once a week I have a chat with the gang. I don't know. I said the other day, I said to Ellen, it's like the Speaking of Asia family, but that's the Speaking of Asia gang, the Speaking of Asia community. Michael Greens, when is Brent getting out of the hospital? Glad you're okay, mate. Well, you have to ask him that if he's still there, because he might be weary. But he told me when he messaged me earlier on that he was be getting out quite soon, and he was hoping to be back in the Philippines in a couple of months, which would be amazing. Got a music quiz tomorrow night, and it's always better when Brent's here, because when Brent's there, I can put country and western music in because he likes his country and western, and he's damn good at it, and it keeps the quiz competitive. Because there's a couple of the teams are really, really good at basically all kinds of music other than country. And they just steam ahead and win by miles. But if I put some country in, it makes it harder for them and it evens things out. But with Brent being away, and there's another guy called Tim, he's away, and he's a country fan and that. If I put any country in now, they'd be like, what the hell are you doing here? No one wants country. So Brent is a very welcome addition to the quiz. So I hope he comes back soon. Glenn, Canadians. Wade 42. Corn Pop, are you still mad at Sleepy Joe? Okay. They're not talking to us. I'm assuming not. Jackstar, welcome, Luke. Tell us about yourself. Where are you in the world, etc.? Brent's tripping. I'm out of hospital. My daughter busted me out 2 days ago. Days and nights are all mixed up here. 6:30 here. I thought, there you go. You see, I'm sorry, Brent. I don't keep up. I thought she had, because I saw the she was on Facebook. She'd picked you up in the car and you were going. But then when you messaged earlier on, I thought you said you were still in the hospital. So I thought that must have been an old thing. So there you go. Don't ask me any questions. I'm useless. No, Brent's out, because you posted that like either yesterday or the day before, you and your daughter in the car. I'm awful with social media. Well done. Nick, I haven't seen some of your most recent videos. Are you still considering moving to a new place? No, not really. No, we're okay here now. I mean, we are considering it, in the sense that what we do is, if we see somewhere that we think looks nice, and it's in the area we want, we go and look at it. So we've been and look at a couple, but if something better comes up, now we're on a month-to-month contract, we would possibly move, but we're in no desperate rush to. The roosters down the road, like now. See, how long have we been talking? Haven't heard a single rooster. You know, people say the rooster would drive you mad. It's only in the early hours here, and like in the afternoon, that they're like a problem. Nighttime, most of the day, they're not. So yeah, we're not actively looking, although Ellen does from time to time. She'll show me something, and if I think it looks somewhere good, we'll go and have a look. But there's no mad rush to move, put it that way. Luke Parsons, King's birthday today, is it? Well, you got me again. King's birthday. I'm out of that one. I'm getting terrible. I haven't seen the music video. Luke Parsons. I'm in Australia, East Coast, about 1.5 hours north of Sydney. Well, there you go, mate. Welcome. I do like Australians. My favourite nationality, I think. Don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of American friends, got a few British friends and that, but I have met some British people over here I'm not particularly keen on. The vast majority I am. I've met a few Americans, some of which I haven't liked. Some, Brent, for example, I like immensely. But Australians, I have not met a bad Australian. All the Australians I met over here have been good as gold, which is why I say I think they're my favourite expat nationality. Glenn, King's birthday, the 21st. Is it? So we're talking about Charlie Boy, are we? Not being a royalist, I don't keep track of things like that, particularly being out of the country. But he's still all right, Charlie. I think he's a lot of people thought he'd be terrible. I think he's doing all right in what he has to do. Hollywood, don't know how you missed me, but I guess it's too bad for me. Don't want to be a bother. If I missed you, are you talking about the comments? I do apologise. It's because I'm not very good at this. I get caught up answering something, then someone makes a comment that I'm trying to mull over. But if I missed you, mate, I do apologise. You are never a bother. Trevor Harvey, hello from Togo. Hello, Trevor. Always glad to when you can join us. Have you recovered from the celebrations of beating Man City yet? If that had been West Ham won that game, I think I'd still be excited about it. Do you actually live in Tokyo? Or like, you must be in the air, it can't be central, can it? Because I know you've got really cheap living. So I'm guessing that you must live like in a suburb. Luke Parsons, today, 9th of June, we had a national public holiday to celebrate the King's birthday. Well, there you go. I don't think we'll have a national holiday in Dumagetti to celebrate King's birthday. Right, Glenn, roosters are set. Are you sat outside? Yeah, I'm sat outside. I'm in the garden. I've done all the live streams from the garden these days. I've stopped doing it inside because of the echo, because of the fridge, because of the It's a big space, the kitchen and the thingy room, so it echoes. So I always come outside now. See, there is a guy, I'm not going to mention his name because I don't like it. He talks about me sometimes, but he is a sad, pathetic little man, a loser, so desperate for attention because he has to have attention of any kind because his parents probably, he's just never been loved. So he jumps around streams like this, just trying to wind people up because that's all he's got in his life. Eva Feldham, most rentals have an issue. It's all about your tolerance. Do you agree? Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah. Particularly in the Philippines, it doesn't matter what you pay or where you are. There will always be an issue. You know, it's like, you know, if you rent a place which has got 1,000 generators and blah, 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 one of the generators will break and you'll be complaining because you paid for the generator, or you'll have a garden who doesn't. There will always be a problem. And it's all about tolerance. And it's accepting it. Like, say, with the brownouts here. If a brownout now, they can be annoying at times, but I just jump in my scooter and go to a restaurant. You know, we have a meal out, or, you know, a few drinks or whatever. I mean, I don't, you know, it is what you do. It's what you do with it. But yeah, I agree entirely. Particularly here in the Philippines, 100%. Trevor Harvey, Australians celebrate a holiday for the King's birthday, but British do not. It is public, not real birthday. Well, there you go. So I did not know that. There you go. And that's strange. You celebrate his birthday and we don't. Mind you, he has 2 a year, doesn't he? Do we celebrate either of them in the UK? I'm not that hot on bank holidays anymore. I missed the May holiday. You know, people were out last week, that month, and it was like the May Day and the summer holiday. I'd missed all of those as well. I'm totally out of track. Jack Star, welcome, Luke. Nice to meet you, pal. Not a royalist either, just on my calendar. Yeah, you know, look, as far as I'm concerned, we're the royal family. Some people love them, fine, up to them. Some people want rid of them. You know, I'm just indifferent to the whole thing. You know, they're there. You know, it is what it is. Luke Parsons, so which country are you in then? I don't know if you're asking me or you're asking someone you're talking to in the chat. If you're asking me, I'm in the Philippines, in the island of Negros. We call it Negros now, I think, because Occidental and Accidental are no more. I think it's just called Negros now. I'm not entirely sure on that. There we go. Trevor Harvey, 1 hour out of Tokyo is very cheap in an old house, maybe 300 a month. The guy who lives in a bedsit and wears $5 shirts, has got the most ridiculous haircut I've ever seen, clearly hasn't got a dime to his name. Is casting aspersion. I find it farcical. This is what I don't get about trolls. It is classic projection. Anything they say, you know, it's just them in their. Anyway, I'm not gonna. I just find it so funny. This guy. You know, there are some people who are good at what they do, and some people can be quite cutting. You know, there's nothing more difficult than an intelligent guy who's got a sharp tongue. You know, who can pick up on things. But this little man is just, you know, it's like, you know. It's like the line. You just want to say it's like the line out of Full Metal Jacket. What's the matter, mum? Dumb fuck? Did your mum and daddy not show you enough attention? You know, every time I see a comment, that's all I think of. It's incredible. Just like, you know, hiding behind the thing. I'll get a reaction. I must get a reaction. I must get a reaction. It's incredible. Anyway, Trevor Harvey. Anyway, right. Jack Star. Hi, Brent. Just started watching your channel. Thanks to young Simon. Young Simon, I like that. On the men, buddy. Yeah, it's a good channel, Glenn. Good channel, Glenn. I'm all over the place. Good channel, Brent. I do recommend that. It's the only channel I watch over here, really. And I've got a bit of catching up to do on that channel, to be honest with you. But no, Glenn, he's got a good channel, Brent. Brent is a good guy. Glenn, like your response to the troll, LOL. Well, you know what I mean. Glenn, come on. What else response are you going to give? It's the fact that he lurks in these rooms. The fact, see, apparently people will tell me he talks about me in his when he has his lives, and that just tells you so much. Because I won't even mention his name. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's just when someone is desperate for attention, the best thing is not to give it to them. And it's someone said the other day, this person is talking about you. And they said, don't you care? I said, well, of course I don't care. I find it amusing. So, do you want to know what he says? I said, I'm not remotely interested in what he says because it's all bollocks. You know what I mean? Anyway, there you go. Sweetie, could I have a coffee, please, my love? She's not happy with me at the moment. She's pulling faces because I was a bit snappy earlier on when the old stream wouldn't come up, but maybe I've won around. Ira Feldman. Well, I won't read his name. Was kicked out of the army for being gay. There was also a video of him kissing a ladyboy in Thailand. Oh, I thought you were shaking my hand and I was miles away. I'm sure there is. But if that is true, I feel sorry for the ladyboy. I mean, you wouldn't wish that on anyone, would you? Thank you very much. Brent's tripping. Appreciate you watching, Jack Star. Thanks for the plug, Simon. I always plug you, mate. I have plugged you many times. But you don't need me plugging, mate. Your channel has taken off. Next time I see you, I'll be asking for an autograph. It's everyone loves Brent. Mike Hinneman. Hello, Mike. The plastered finger. There is only one thing worse than being talked about. That is not being talked about. Yes, that was Oscar Wilde, wasn't it? I think that was Oscar Wilde. Or was it Groucho Marx? It was one of the two. But yeah, but it's a very good quote. Neat. I'm not aware of who the other vlogger is that keeps talking about you, Simon, but you've got the right attitude. The less you care about the trolls, the more it upsets them. Well, I know it does. You can see that in the chat. Right. Trevor Harvey. Australians chose to keep the Queen because if there were a republic, politicians would choose the president, which they didn't want. Better to stay as they are. This was 99 when I lived there. Yeah, I have heard that. I do not follow Australian politics because obviously I'm not Australian. But I did get the impression when they had that referendum, most of the people said, like, they don't particularly have a affinity with our royal family, but they don't want a president. And I can totally relate to that. I can totally get to that. I've always thought the president thing's a bit strange, but there you go. Microgreens. Simon, have you seen many motorbike accidents in Pekong Dumageti? Yeah, it's a strange one, this, because I have seen a few, and I know several friends who've had accidents, but not as many as I saw in Thailand, which is unusual because when I lived up in Phetchabun, it was very quiet. I mean, we're talking the roads and things, but you would often see accidents. Several times a week, someone would have fallen off, or there would be marks on the road where the police had marked them off. But Dumageti is a lot busier, but you don't see that many. But there are. I was saying to Ellen the other day, I find it strange that we don't see more accidents. But yeah, it is a dangerous place to drive a scooter. There is no doubt about that, because you get a lot of drunks and a lot of people driving down the wrong side of the road, and a lot of people driving without lights. It is a it's not a safe place. But what are your options? I would rather drive a scooter over here than a car, because on a scooter I don't go particularly fast. I'm quite confident on a scooter. I mean, I drove one for like 7 years in Thailand. If I was driving a car over here, I'd be worried about knocking someone off a bike, because they pull in and out and all that kind of stuff. And I'd rather take the risk and have a graze or break a bone or something like that than end up running a couple of people over and end up in a big court battle. So that's the main reason I haven't got a car over here, to be honest with you. I just don't want to hassle driving a car. And the traffic's bad. You're on a scooter, you can get in and out. Jackstar, Brent's, we said the other week, and Simon agreed. I go for the personality and the content of the channel. Keep it going, matey. Yeah, and he's I say I like Brent. Well, Brent's a mate. I mean, obviously I like him, but he's a good channel as well. because he keeps it real. Doesn't bullshit. Doesn't paint the place out to be better than it is. Doesn't pretend to be, something that he's not. Down to with Brent, what you see is what you get. Glenn, we saw Ellen and Simon interaction at the start. No dancing this time. LOL. Hi, Ellen. I deleted that. You didn't see that, did you? God, Lord. She said we were live. Yeah. I do snap. We don't have the perfect relationship people seem to think we have. Yeah. I deleted it now anyway. I think it's gone. But yeah, that was getting very stressful. Luke Parsons, I honestly think there was a lot more to it than just that. People just don't want to change. Oh, I see what you mean about the king and the royalty and that. Yeah, well, there may well be. As I say, I have no. What was in what the thing I took from that? I'm not saying there wasn't more to that. I don't know Australian politics, sorry, but the point was it seemed that they weren't madly in love. It's like when it always just amazed me when I went to America because people know I lived there for a while and I used to travel around a lot, and everywhere I went, particularly if you go to a Denny's or something like that, as soon as the staff knew I was English, they'd come over and they'd start asking you about the royal family, and they'd be like, would you think Charles is going to do this, or is he going to split up from? You think, like, wow, why are you? I'd say I don't know, I don't follow, I don't care, and they'd look at you like you were mad. And I had a Canadian couple come up to me once when we were in New Orleans and said they were Canadian, and they said we're loyal to the throne, and I was like, what? And they said we're loyal to the throne, we're loyal Canadians. I thought, wow, I have never had anyone in the UK say we're loyal to the throne. I mean, so, the royal family, I take very little interest in them. Trevor Harvey, what do you think about tourist numbers down in Thailand and the Philippines? No Korean or Chinese are going. I don't know, to be honest with you, mate. I used to watch Tim Newton. I think Tim Newton's great. I used to watch his channel when I was in Thailand, and I watch a lot now. And when I used to watch that, he was very good at giving the tourist figures, the real figures and details like that. But since I've stopped watching him, and it's not because I've gone off him or anything, it's just I'm too busy doing other things. I don't know whether they are dropping or not, but certainly I have no empirical evidence for this. Chinese do seem to have dropped in the Philippines, on the extent that Ellen has mentioned it a couple of times. Apparently, there used to be a time when you went to the North Point and there were lots of Chinese people there, and you don't see many of them these days. Why that is, I do not know. I know some people suggested there was a push to get Chinese people out because they were criminals and that. You take the things you read on social media with a pinch of salt. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the Koreans. China doesn't seem to have that much influence over here in a sense, in terms of the shops and things, but Koreans do. There's lots of Korean and Japanese clothes shops here, loads of Korean barbecues. The Filipinos love Korean barbecues. I could take or leave them, to be honest with you. And they love the Korean boy bands. Korea, there's a big influence South Korea seems to have on certainly Dumagetti and the girls that I knew over in Sigil. They all loved the Filipino. Can't speak, I told you. The South Korean. Thank you, my lovely. That's very kind. You're going to burn my hand now, aren't you? Why don't you just pop it down on the floor? She puts it in the microwave for 4.5 minutes. Can you just pop it on the floor? She's trying to burn me now. I can take the pain. I'll make your mind up. Anyway. So anyway, China, I don't think there's only 2 Chinese restaurants that I know of, and they've been here for years. One of them's been here for a long time. Honestly uninterested. So you will have to choose who you are in love with, Brent or Simon. Oh, you're talking to the moron. Honestly uninterested, gay grandpa. I don't think he's gay. I think he's impotent. I don't think he does anything, to be honest with you. He'd explain all the anger and the aggression. Thai, speak Thai, please. Oh, Pompud Medina couldn't make our jai. My Thai is awful, and I have my it is Made Magna. And the awful thing is, it's got so much worse. There was there's a restaurant over there in Sikihor, which called Awai Mak Mak. And the first time I went there, I got talking to the guy who owned it because the wife's Filipino. I actually got talking to the wife, and I could hold a basic conversation in Thai. And then the second time I talked to the husband, and I realised how much I was losing it. But the last time me and Ellen went over there, the wife started talking to me, and I couldn't understand. There was a delay. She would say something, and I would literally have to wait a minute before I could reply because I've lost it. And it was never great. I always had the accent, you know. And they could understand me up in Petchabam. When I lived in Buriram, they found it much harder to understand me there. Anyway, that's all the Thai you're getting from me. Nick Niner. Trevor Harvey, many channels are saying the same about numbers down. Yeah, well, as I say, they may well be, but I take a lot of these. I don't watch the channels, but you know, so I don't know. You got to remember, you see, Dumaguete is not a tourist destination. So you know, all I know is that Sikihor is heaving at the moment. So much infrastructure can't take it. They've got 5 times as many tourists as they've ever had before. So tourism is up over there. But, you know, if this was a tourist place, you know, say we were living in Mobile, I could give you some anecdotal evidence. I could say, well, I haven't seen as many of this or whatever. But can't really say that living in Dumaguete. And as I say, I don't watch these other channels. And a lot of these channels, you know, it's anecdotal. I don't know many channels that actually do the research. Like that's why it's like Tim Newton, because he'd do the hard work for you. He'd look at the tourist board information, he'd look at the flight information, and all the rest of it. You could take what he said, but I keep hearing so many times on these vlogs in the past, all the Americans are leaving and expats are leaving the Philippines and expats are this, expats and that, and you think, well, I don't know any who are. So either it's not true, it's being exaggerated, or they're leaving other places, but certainly not where we are here. I've not noticed a mass exodus of expats, but there you go. Glenn. Where's Glenn gone? Ellen's Revenge. Yeah, she does that. She tries to provoke me. That's why you probably saw me snapping at her early on. She's very provocative. She likes to get a reaction. There we go. And she likes scolding me, clearly physically. I mean, not scolding me as in yakking, but burning my flesh. Honestly, uninterested is talking to great grandpa. Trevor Harvey, are you learning Bisaya or Tagalog? No, I'm not. I am not, because I can't. As I was saying, I'm losing my Thai now. I go into modes. So I used to be able to speak Swedish because I lived in Sweden for a couple of years. And now when I talk to people in a language, I was talking to a Swedish guy the other day who came down to do the quiz. My mind seems to go in foreign language mode. And I mix things up. It's like, you know, I'll be talking Swedish and then a bit of Thai will pop into it, or a bit of French or whatever. It's like, you know, it's all a mess. There used to be a time when if anyone from Scandinavia, I saw, I'd be like, hey, you know, start chatting straight away. Hey, Hermadu, Yarg Het Simon. You know, nowadays I'm wary to, because it's going. But when I came here, I never knew how long I was going to stay. I promised myself I wouldn't learn the language because I didn't see the point, because they spoke English. Then about a month ago, I thought I should start making the effort. And I started to try and learn. And Ellen would give me a couple of words each day. And they're gone within half an hour. And I have to ask again. And she thought I was joking. I just cannot retain it anymore. It took a long time to learn what little Thai I learned over there. About 5 years, and it suddenly started to click. But no, I don't. I'm not going to make the effort, and I honestly don't think I could learn Filipino. It's just don't think I can. I think my language learning skills have gone as I've got older. Brazil said hi. Hi, Brazil. How are you doing, brother? Welcome to the chat. Trevor Harvey, you have to be there to learn a language. Now I can speak Japanese, but I have forgotten French. See, I've never forgotten French. French has stayed, but there is a part of your brain, I can't remember what it's called, but after 4 years old, it starts to deteriorate. And if you're not exposed to another language, you will always find it harder to learn after that point. My second wife, Hannah, she could speak 6 languages and she was fluent in 4 of them. Her English was exceptional. She was Swedish. Because she had been exposed to languages when she was younger. You know, in Sweden, everyone can speak English in Sweden. It's just the way it is. You know, it's incredibly impressive. I don't think I could learn Japanese if I went there now. Not a chance. Not a chance. Because the older you get, the harder it gets. If I went back to Thailand, I'd pick the Thai up again, I think, if I started talking to people. But I should have asked TAI where they were in Thailand. The plastered finger, you shouldn't have to move from where you are. Looks like you're living rent-free in someone else's head. Very good. I think I am, mate. I think I am. Which says it all. Which says it all. See, this guy, I keep forgetting he's there until he pops up again. You know what I mean? He's like, and I mean, oh God, this moron's still here. But yeah, that's the point of it. You know, this is a person who is supposedly living a fantasy world, who's got all this and got all that, who makes these shorts outside restaurants saying he's just been in there and he's spent this much money. When he's never actually inside them. And apparently when he went to Thailand, someone was staying, he was staying like a 1-star hotel. And when he does his live streams, he's in this shithole, like, you know, little one bedsit. But then he's calling everyone else has got no money and no one's got this and no one's got that. And he just spends his life, it would appear, going outside, pretending he's in somewhere expensive, and then going back home and popping on people's live streams, just trying to be as offensive as possible in a desperate attempt for attention. I mean, it's like, you know, and apparently everyone else is jealous. Brent's tripping. My God, mate, you didn't have to do that. Thank you very much. Yeah, mate. Thanks, Brent. I will buy you a coffee next time you're back here, mate. And I hope you're back soon. The Dumaguete is a better place for you here, mate. Get some sleep and get some rest. Take care, mate. Much appreciated. On his son, you said, bye, Brent. You have a very sexy voice too. He does have a strong accent. One of the things I like about Brent the first time I met him is he's got a strong accent. I can understand him. He can understand me. You know, it's amazing how many people I talk to over here who are from other countries. Like I know a few Norwegians, a few Scandinavians, etc. There's a Dutch guy, a great bloke, can all understand me. The American friends I've got over here, they can understand me. But all the people who it's their second language can understand me, you'll get a high percentage of Americans who will say they cannot understand a word I'm saying. They used to say it on the channel, can't understand a word, what language he's speaking or whatever. And I've never understood that because I have never been anywhere in the world where someone is speaking English, be it India or China or whatever. They've all got accents. I can understand them. To me, if someone can't understand me, but I can understand them, I wouldn't make a big thing out of the fact that they couldn't understand. I couldn't understand him because I think it was my fault. My comprehension skills were weak, not that the other person was talking, you know, badly. So I don't get why. Anyway, there you go. I've gone off chat. I've gone off peak there. Trevor Harvey, it's true about 4-year-olds. Both my kids are bilingual because they learn from birth. The interesting thing about that is I was watching a study on it many years ago when they were talking about it, and they reckon that because in England or English-speaking countries, we don't learn other languages at a young stage, so that part of the brain, you know, shrivels up or it becomes redundant. But because of that, we compensate with body language. That because we can't speak other languages, we are better understanding body language. And they did it on this study where they got kids who were English and they made them listen to people in other languages, and they were asking if they were happy or sad or what their emotions were. And the kids who could only speak one language were much better at telling whether someone was happy or whether someone was crying, because sometimes when people are laughing you can't. The kids who could speak lots of languages were struggling to tell by the tone of the emotion. And that really struck home with me, because when I had my security businesses, I worked in a lot of different countries, and mainly in Holland, and we had some contracts in Poland. And I'd go to meetings, and I'd have people there to translate. And obviously, the Dutch could speak English, but I had a much better sense of telling whether the meetings had gone well, because some of them I'd walk out, and the Dutch-speaking guy used to say, "Oh, that went well." I said, "No, it didn't." And he said, "Well, he didn't say anything." I said, "Why did you think that?" I said, "Well, you could tell from his body language, because you can tell, there were certain things." And I was generally right, and it was the same in Poland. There was definitely, and there's been times when I've been out with Ellen, and she's talking to people in Filipino, and I can't understand what they're saying, but I can tell, I can get a general gist. And she'll say, "Well, how did you know that?" I said, "Because I could tell from the body language." Anyway, there you go. Just my theory. Trevor Harvey, it's true about Michael's. Bye, Brent. Hope you make a full recovery. Take care. Ira Feldman, I can understand enough for sign to get by, but don't speak very well. I had to really listen and repeat it to myself, even if I was not involved in the conversation. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I don't think I'm going to try, to be honest with you, because if I do something, I tend to get immersed. I get obsessive about it, and I've got so much going on. If I was to really make an effort to try and learn Filipino, I'd get very stressed by the fact I couldn't do it, and it would take away from the quizzing thing. So, and the YouTube channel and that. So, but I can't stay here forever and not learn it. That would, because then that's pathetic. I've got to make the effort, but I'm trying not to. You know what I'm saying. Brent's Tribune, appreciate your honesty. Uninterested. Jack Star, mate, I suffer the same thing. It's called CRS. Can't remember shit. Yeah. See, that part's getting worse, but we're getting older, aren't we? It's worrying, some of the things. I have senior moments quite often now, but particularly when it comes to languages. Honestly uninterested. I watch Corrie Street. Good God, do you? I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I haven't watched Coronation Street in years. PP Conway, I think Americans just do it nicely. Ooh, you're British. Hold on, I've got to get rid of this arrow here. Can't read, it's in the way. Trevor Harvey, I think Americans just do it nicely. Ooh, you're British. Two sides of the ocean kind of thing. Tomato. Yeah. Trevor Harvey, I can understand and speak Japanese, but cannot read the room. I can't read a word of Thai. Never could. My girlfriend at the time, she had a little nephew. And when I was first starting to try and learn the language, she thought it would be fantastic if she got these, because she was going to teach Phil, his name was, to read. So he thought I should try and read at the same time. And she got these like learning boards and that for him. And my God, he was about 2 years old, 2.5, I think he was. And after a week, I gave up. He was picking it up so much quicker than I could. Because it's difficult to learn Thai, because it's not the same. They don't have an alphabet same as ours. The symbols, like in Japanese, it's very old language. Thai. It dates back to Sanskrit. David, right? President sick, Grandpa Ricky sickness. There we go. Glenn, I used to call them junior senior moments. Now they are fully fledged, legit senior moments. Yeah, well, you have. I can empathise with that, mate. It happens. It happens. Yeah, there were times. Well, you know it. We all do it our age. You'll go into a room, you go and get something, and I stop and I think, why did I come in here? What am I looking for? And that bothers me. I start to think, have I got early dementia? And then I worry about it, and I forget, and I don't worry anymore. Chinese have 50,000 symbols. Imagine learning Japanese that only have 2,000 symbols. Well, either way, I might have mentioned it before. When I had it in my head before I came here, I was going to go to Colombia. I thought I'd better try and learn Spanish, and I picked it up very quickly. When I say I didn't learn to speak language fluently or anything like that, I didn't even come close to it. But the point is, for a couple of weeks, I started watching Spanish videos on YouTube, and I realised straight away I'd be able to pick that up. Because it's a Romance language. I mean, I know ours is a Germanic language, but there are so many similarities. It's like Swedish. when I was in Sweden. Swedish wasn't great, but I learned it very quickly because, again, it's a Germanic language, so it's got the same sentence structure. A lot of similarities. I mean, Norwegian is the closest language in the world to English, so it's easy. But as soon as you go to a Southeast Asian country, somewhere like China, somewhere like Japan, somewhere like the Philippines, God, it's impossible, or very hard to. I mean, some people will learn it. I take my hat off to them. I mean, there's bits of Spanish, mingled in with this. There's quite a bit of Spanish actually in that they talk over here, but so I can't speak Spanish. So there you go. Learning a second language slows down dementia. Well, I think learning from anywhere helps. I mean, learning anything. You keep your brain active. One interesting thing about dementia, though, they reckon that, all studies change. But many moons ago, I remember reading something in the paper, and they reckon that Alzheimer's, you've got it 25 years on average before the symptoms even show. You know, it's when it's advanced and past the stage of treatment, although there is no stage of treatment, you've already got it, and it's been working. It's been working away for years, which is a worrying thought. Trent from Punchy, you sound like Billy Moore. Billy Moore. I don't know who Billy Moore is. Unless you're talking about the Billy Moore podcast. Are you talking about the guy who was in a Thai prison? I think his name's Billy Moore, isn't it? Because I don't sound anything like him. He's from Liverpool, mate. But I do love his channel. But maybe you're talking about a different Billy Moore. He's the only Billy Moore I can think of. Pierre King. The language is crucial. There's no need to learn the alphabet. Just you need to get immersed. Being able to speak is so fun. Though I was lucky when I was 20 or 40 years ago, stayed with a Thai family. Well, there you go. Yeah. There you go. As I say, my Thai was never great, but it made a big difference. But then I was immersed. I mean, where I lived up in Peterborough, there were no other expats. I had to learn it. There were a few ex-bar girls who could speak English. Our girlfriend's her English was all right, but none of her neighbours could speak a word of English. So, and when you're in that, you pick it up. But there comes a point, I found, where it suddenly starts, because little expressions, it suddenly started clicking together. But I'm not going to talk any more Thai, because I'll embarrass myself, because it really has gone. Honestly uninterested. Ellen will lead you to the bathroom if you lose all your marbles, LOL. She keeps saying that. She keeps saying, I should be nicer to her, because she's going to look after me when I'm older. I know I say to her, how do you know you're not going to age? Filipinos age a lot quicker than us. Their life expectancy is 15 years younger. But yeah, I think you're right. But she bullies me now. She teases me now. What's she going to be like when I've got dementia? Gosh, she'll be abusive. I'm sure she will. She's cooking a dinner, so she can't hear what I'm saying. Jim Pendergast, disposable vapes banned in UK, refillable still available and hard to get in the Philippines. Vapers should be aware. Have they really banned vapes in the Philippines, in the UK? I did not know that. Why? Have they decided that is there some study that said they're bad for you? That's interesting. They've never been legal in Thailand, although you can get them and people vape, but it's illegal in Thailand. But they say it's because of health reasons, but it's not. It's because some of the high-ranking the powers that be are invested in cigarette companies. But I did not know that. That's interesting. David, 65, white boy pecker with penise, Chad Dubsy, I don't know what that's about. Pierre King, Putchibum, nice province, fertile land. I'm next door in our province. Are you really? There you go. Yeah, it is. We used to live not far from Petrobran City, but the whole of Petrobran is lovely up there. I much prefer living there than down the south. Lived in Buriram after that, and it wasn't the same. It got bloody hot in summer, and it was so brown. What I loved about Petrobran, it was so luscious, it was so green. It was it is a fertile place, as you say. There were loads of paddy fields all around us, and jungle. I like that. It's compared to here, I like it. I mean, there's lots of. I'm not that impressed. I think I was spoilt by Thailand. It doesn't impress me as much the trees and the greenery around here. But when I do the walk and talks, lots of people say you're so lucky to live in this luscious green. as I say, it was much nicer in Petrobras in terms of the, you know, the vegetation and that. I mean, you go out in our garden, you walk down, literally, you know, you could pick bamboo for dinner if you wanted it. There were mangoes on the trees. There were, you know, bananas, and everything was just growing wild. You know, there was so much food, and you know, you went down, you could pick morning glory. It was just, it was a very, very lush place. Honestly uninterested. You love it. Ellen's teasing. I suppose I do. Let's face it. I suppose I do. I'm just going to crash on. It's not very nice. People seeing me take my snooze out of my mouth. But I'm glad I'm off the vapes if they're going to ban them. I'm much happier with the snooze, to be honest with you. I got more addicted to vapes than I ever was to cigarettes. I had a 4-month period when I first came here, and I vaped, and I realised very soon that was just making me incredibly addicted to nicotine. But I'm getting addicted to these. See, the trouble is, they sell them in the 7-Elevens now, but you can never get the flavours you want. And it's random the strengths they've got. And I got some mint ones the other week, and they were extra strength because it's all they had. And I prefer the mint ones. But now I'm getting through these weak strength ones incredibly fast because I've got used to the stronger ones. Not good. Jim Pendergast, yes, disposable banned because they cannot be recycled. Vanessa in UK, far superior. Well, there you go. Well, that's good that they banned them for that reason. I thought there was going to be some health reason they'd come across. But yeah, I suppose that's okay. Got to look after the environment. One thing's for certain, they will not ban them for that reason over here. Recycling is not a thing in the Philippines. It was over in City Hall, mind you. But here, they don't recycle shit, which is sad. And they don't collect the rubbish either. They dump it. David, penise herpes, Angeles City, 78 age white boy, pecker, nicotine, lung cancer. Okay. Well, thanks for that, mate. You have really enhanced the conversation. Well, are we coming to an end? I don't know. Conversation has dried up. I'm happy to keep on talking. I've got a full cup of coffee, and we've only gone for 1 hour and 7 minutes. But I don't know what to do if no one says anything. I've given you all the news. Music quiz tomorrow night. I've told you about the demise of He Who Shall Not Be Mentioned. I've told you Ray's news. The plastered finger is laughing. He's come back. Andy Strovelt, Swedish snooze. Yeah, well, that's why I first took snooze when I was living in Sweden. But it was tobacco then. You know, it was tobacco snooze. Now, I don't know what's in these, but I don't think there's any tobacco in them. But yeah, it was a... and it's definitely taken off over here, the snooze, because it used to be there was only one 7-Eleven that had them. Now, all the 7-Elevens, I think, have them. And they keep selling out very quickly. You think they would order more, but they don't. But the fact that they're selling out tells you that snooze is taking off here. Are you still in Benidorm, Anders? Waar are du? Waar are du, Iquel? Done all right on the views tonight, though. We're down to 26, which is more than we usually get. Maybe that was due to the presence of the a-hole. Jim Pendergast, never seen snooze. Well, it's there. It's there because I was doing a video a while back, and someone asked me from England, asked me how much the snooze cost over there. So I told them how much the snooze cost, and they said it's a lot cheaper than the UK. So obviously you can get it, but I've never seen it. I think actually I tell you a lie. I think when I went back to Caerphilly once, not Caerphilly. God, I can't. Yeah, it was Caerphilly. No, it wasn't. Llandilo. It was Llandilo. In the, I think I went in the co-op there, and I think I remember seeing some on a bottom shelf and thinking, is that snooze? But I never really looked into it any further than that. And as I say, you can get it. How popular it is, I do not know, because someone said it was like, I asked me how much it was here, and I said 139 pesos, which is about £2, and they said it's half the price of the UK. Oh, Jackstar, mate, thank you very much. Honestly, you didn't have to do that, mate, but thank you very much. That is incredibly kind of you. I will take that on out. I say that quietly in case you can hear me. But Jack, you don't need to do that, mate. It is always appreciated. I'll take her to that hot dog place down the corner where they do the hot dogs for 69 pesos. They're that long. Anders Streitfeld going to Phil for retirement in 2026. Thanks for that, Jack. I say you always blow my mind when you do that, mate. You really don't need to, but it's very much appreciated. Where are you going this month, by the way, Jack? When are you coming here? You said to me, that's the point. Now you've reminded me. Now you've said that. You said you were thinking of coming here for 2 months in the foreseeable future, in the not too distant future. Is that plan still coming? Are you still planning to do that? Inquiring minds would like to know. I hope so, anyway. Why are you coming here, Anders? I thought you'd retired to Benidorm. You're an interesting chap. There you go. I'm trying to think. The reason I've gone quiet now is I'm terrible with memory. Haven't you said you're coming here before? But is Benidorm not for you then, mate? You're not liking it? Glenn, it is advisable to book digs in advance when coming to Douma. Is it advisable? At the end of this year? Yeah, it's advisable. I mean, if you're definitely coming and you let me know the dates, I can sort something out for you. There's a couple of places I might be able to get a discount. But yeah, I would always book places in advance because it's different because you know me. So I mean, I'd help you, but I've never understood people who don't book in advance. Because if you don't book in advance, I'm not talking about Doom, I'm just talking about in general. I've always been someone, well, I used to, when I was in my traveling days, I'm kind of stuck here now, I don't travel so much. I used to go with hotels.com. I was a gold member, and I loved the fact that every 10 nights you got a free night at a hotel. So I was into collecting my points. I was into my air miles and all sorts in those days. So I always booked my hotel in advance. I think if you just turn up at an airport, what are you going to do? You're going to ask a taxi driver to take you to a decent hotel or whatever. You're at the mercy of the taxi driver or the trike driver or all the rest of it. And sometimes you might save a few quid in the walk-in price. Sometimes you'll get charged extra. But it's not just about the money. It's about the fact that I would hate the idea of turning up somewhere after a long flight with my bags and having to worry whether I could find a hotel. You know, and travelling around. I mean, regular guy does it. When I used to watch his vlogs, I say I've got nothing against Scotty Boy, I just stopped watching them. But it always used to amaze me how he'd get in a place and he'd jump on a trike and he'd go here and he'd try that place and he'd look in the rooms and he'd look there. Now, it's good content, and I'm sure he must have been doing it for the content, I assume, because if he wasn't, bloody hell, that's a stressful way of doing things. Yeah, I mean, if you're not sure, you just book a place for a night or two and then you'd find somewhere better. But anyway, that's the way I would do it. That's just me. Honestly, uninterested. You will have to tell me where that hot dog place is. I could live on hot dogs. Well, it's a chain called, they're like these little, they're called Big Mackies. And the burgers and that are rank, they're no good. But the hot dogs aren't bad. I do this incredibly long one. But they've got a few in Dumagetti. But there's one in Bacon where I have to go from the set, because we have to go to the 7-Eleven quite regularly to top up on my old Diet Coke. And you pay your bills, and we go there like every other night. And there's one just across the road. And I'll do a vlog on it one day. I'm going to do a vlog on the cheapest eats in the Philippines. But it's not bad. I mean, it's not great. It's not like a Nathan's. But I take it home, I sprinkle some chilies and that on it. Does the job. And it's huge. And it comes in a nice little box. Jack, so yeah, defo still coming. However, my daughter's problems are delaying things. Well, mixed emotions. Jubilation, the fact you're still coming, mate. I'm really looking forward to it. Strong empathy if you're still having problems, mate. As I've said to you before, heart goes out to you. I cannot imagine the pain that must be having a child, because you must feel helpless in that. You know what I mean? If it's your problem yourself, you think, well, I can snap myself out of this. I'm going to pull up my bootstraps and I'm going to deal with it, or not, as the case may be. But when it's someone else, someone you're close to, someone you love, someone, I imagine if it's your kid, it's like, you know, you're meaning of living for. That must be terrible. My ex-wife, she suffered from depression, really bad depression. A lot of Swedes do, or a lot of Scandinavians do. And it was heartbreaking sometimes when she was down, because you felt helpless because you couldn't do anything to help her. You know what I mean? I'd rather, I'd rather been sick myself. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's hard to explain, but I imagine it must be double for your kid as it is for like your partner. So heart goes out to you, mate. I hope you get them sort. I hope she can sort it out, and I'm sure she will, because we all go through stages as kids. I did anyway. Um, the plastered finger. Yeah, my language was Welsh. Then after 4 years of English became the home language. Then went to France for 20 years, picked up French. Thai was more difficult, but Tagalog, the Ciano, makes me sweat. Yeah, I couldn't learn that. Really, what part of Wales are you from? My parents live in Llandilo now, but I've always liked Wales. My first job, um, when I was 16, we went to Barry Island, me and a mate of mine, and we got a job on the fair there, and it was fantastic. I loved that. And then when I was in the Air Force, I did my driving course up at St Athens, and it was great to go back to Barry because I still had friends there because it was only like a year or so after we left. And my closest friend now lives in Caerphilly. I've always loved Wales. Glenn, thanks. Yeah, no worries, mate. When you know you're definitely coming, we'll sort something out. Because I don't know if I've still got the same pool I used to have because I don't go at the Kingswick anymore. But they'd always, whenever I book rooms, they'd always give me a discount when I booked a room for Ray and all the rest of it. But I will ask around. I mean, it depends where you want to be and how long you're staying for, but you don't want to be at the mercy of the hotels over here. It's some are all right, some are good value. Depends what you want to spend, but some are pretty crap. Not that I've stayed in that many. Anders, I was in Benidorm and Palma de Mallorca. There you go. Never been a fan of Spain. Never. I used to go to Ibiza a bit, but as I said, I'm a bit of an animal lover. I cannot abide bullfighting and all that kind of thing, and that put me off the Spanish. But then I love the rave scene. But no offence if you like it over there, but I could never see the point of living there. I've got a few friends who've got places over there, and I went to Benidorm once for a stag party, and I just thought, nah, this is Blackpool with sun. Not for me. And a lot of Brits like it, but to me, God, why would you live in Spain when you could live in Thailand? Or the Philippines or whatever. It's just British light, and the Spanish do not like us. And I totally get it. I understand it. One of the things I like about the Philippines is they're generally friendly and welcoming. You could tell. Same in Cyprus. I went to Cyprus for a wedding. Best wedding I've ever been to. It's where I met the first wife. And I've got two passports. I've got British and Irish. And I could tell that they didn't like us there through the body language. And I went out one night, and we've been to this restaurant a few times. And the guy asked me, he said, what nationality are you? Where are you from? I said, I'm Irish, from Ireland. He said, what do you think of the British? I said, fuck the British. Just see the reaction I got. He said, oh, thank you, mate. Shook my hand. I got a drink on the house. I mean, mate was with his English, is getting really annoyed by this. I said, I told you they don't like us here. I told you they don't. They don't. And you see the next night, he's talking to these British people, you know what I mean? He's like, there's very few countries. Went to Germany once, Berlin, with my ex-wife. And it was amazing there, the way we got treated. They did not like, you could tell they didn't like British people there. And Hannah could pick on it. So I said to her, the next night when we go out, we'll say we're Swedish. And we went to the same restaurant. And the guy asked where we were from. And she said, we're from Swedish. And he asked me where I was from. And I said, I was from Sweden as well. And they were nice as pie. So it's not, oh, I'm British and I'm paranoid and all the rest of it. Which are the two countries which are the most unpopular countries in the world when you go away around the world, are America and Britain. We don't like to admit it, but it's true. Because of our histories and America now and what we've done in the past. It's like, if you watch TV, they will lead you to believe it's the Chinese are the most unpopular people. They love the Chinese in Thailand. They celebrate the things. The Chinese are popular here, not amongst the expats, but amongst the Filipinos. Big Steve, I always book at least one night. It gives me time to poke around a bit. Welcome back, Big Steve. I didn't know you were in the chat tonight. How big are you, by the way, Steve? I've got to ask, whenever someone their title's big, I have images of like, a giant. How big are you, mate? Or are you big in other ways? Jackstar, bit of business problems with my hydrogen fuel cell and steam generator. Well, there you go. You're letting out more information now. I knew you were having problems with the prototype or but I didn't know what it was. A hydrogen fuel cell and steam generator. Wow. I'm starting to get images of Back to the Future now. I know you don't look like that because I can see your profile on the thing, but that's very technical stuff, that is. That guy who I was talking to the other night, I did the interview, he's a rocket scientist, I believe, the one who works for aerospace. And so's my stepbrother. He told me some incredibly interesting things about our defence, of the UK working for aerospace, what we're actually capable of and what we're not capable of. And some of it was very reassuring and some of it was damn worrying. Honestly, I'm interested. Is Bekong a good place to live? Reference cheap rent, etc. Yeah, I mean, Bekong will be cheaper than Dumaguete, but you can get some expensive places here if you want to live on the beach. But the beach is pretty crap. What I like about Bekong is if you look at the areas you could live in Dumaguete, Sibilan's not great, but the public transport connections are good. My old apartment there, you could go downstairs, you could jump on a bus, and the bus stop was literally outside the house, and they go every 10, 15 minutes straight into the city, and you can flag them down there as well if you're walking. And there's a constant ride of jeepneys up until 9 o'clock at night. Now, I've got a scooter now, but I do like to go out and have a drink sometime. So if I was living there, it would be great for that. You could just jump on the bus and go in. But there's not a lot else going on there. There is more going on in Dumaguete, but there's a lot of air pollution, and it's noisy and it's crowded. So very few of the expats I know actually want to live in Dumaguete. Valencia, it's quieter, it's cooler, it's up in the mountains, but there's not a lot going on there for me. The reason we live in Bekong is because it's quieter here. It's less congested. You're not far from Dumaguete. You can be in the city centre in less than 15 minutes. I can be on my scooter. There's some nice restaurants and that around here. So it works for us. It's quiet enough to not be in Dumaguete and close enough to get there. But the transport's not so great. You can't flag the buses down here. The jeepneys are... I've never used public transport over here. Since we lived in Bekong. Bloody nightmare. I just use a scooter all the time. And if you want to go further down to Darwin and that, it's just too quiet. That couple I was talking to the other day who were staying there, the one I interviewed, Stuart and Asher, they were saying everywhere's closed after 9 o'clock. There's not that many expats that live down there. Yeah, you could have a fantastic place because there are some nice houses and that down there. But I don't think the beach is great, and it's just too far out. You're talking like a half-hour drive to get to Dumaguete. So yeah, Bekong for us is the place. We would probably look for somewhere else in Bekong if we moved, or the centre of Dumaguete by the boulevard. There's an apartment there we nearly took once, which we quite liked. But I don't think I'd ever live in Valencia. But each their own. Some of the people in Valencia love Valencia. But my couple of months up there was enough for me. Big Steve, is the hot dog place across from Ceres Terminal? No, yeah. Well, no, there is one. There is one. Yeah. It is the same chain. That's not the one I'm talking about because I'm living in Bekong. But yes, that is one of them. Yeah, that is it. Mackey's. It's called Super Long or something like that. And I'm not joking. This thing's like at least 1.5 feet long. But yeah, that's the place. Oh, that's the chain. Rather. Jim Pendergrass. Time for lunch. Nice chat. Bye all. Take care, Jim, mate. Be lucky. Always nice to chat to you. Jackstar. Heading down to Hartford, looking at some land. So should be interesting. What, you think they're building something down there, are you? That's interesting. Hartford's quite a nice county. Where have I been in Hartford? Well, I was posted there. I was at Henlow for a while, and I used to have a friend who lived in Ware. But yeah, I bet it's expensive though, home counties. Is that, you thinking of buying some land for a business project, or you thinking of building a house there to sell or to live in, or why are you looking at land, mate? I'm intrigued. Big Steve. Uninterested. There are many choices in Bekong. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's lots of property around here. Lots of places for rent. Lots of things, and there's quite a few restaurants on that. I mean, it's we don't really go out in Bekong that much. I mean, our favourite restaurant is a Native, that's in Bekong, but sometimes go to the Bowls at the Octagon Bar. But it's just quieter than Dumagetti. You know, you can escape from the madness because Dumagetti itself, I would not want to live. I've only got one expat friend that lives there, and I don't know how he does it because you've got shops blaring music. Same in Sibilan, you know, you'll get some shop which will just open up or some stand outside and they will just put their stereo with huge speakers blasting full out. You'll get idiots all night on their you know, banging out their horns and that. Wouldn't be able to live there. I complain about the road, you know, being washed away and all that stuff. That's a point, isn't it? It's funny. The fact that he knew about my house, the fact he knew about the road, that means the one that will be, well, he's gone now, I mentioned him. That means Grandpa watches my videos. Why would he watch my videos if he thinks I'm an arsehole? Strange world we live in. I don't watch his videos. I've never watched any of them. The plastered finger, Swansea-ish. There you go. I've had some good nights out in Swansea. My very good friend from the Air Force, he left. He's a prison guard now. He lives in Swansea. And I always have to go to Swansea if I'm getting the train to Llandilo. So, yeah, it's not a bad city, Swansea. And my girlfriend, many, many moons ago, she went to the Swansea Institute when she was doing her degree. Can't remember what it is. So I've had some good nights out in Swansea. And I love the film Twin Town. Honestly uninterested, cheap. You're talking about yeah. I mean, the thing about the Philippines is there's budget for every, you know, there's an option for any budget. You'll get places here for $8,000 a month if you want like the bachelor pad, they call them, like these tiny little 1-bedroom bed sits. You'll get a fairly decent house like ours for $15,000. I've got a friend who's just taken one on the beach for $46,000, 46,000 pesos a month. I mean, you know, whatever your budget is, you can find somewhere in Bekong area. The plastered finger. I worked Barry Island in 85. On the fair, did Colin Ham own it then? No, Colin Ham didn't own it then. It was Pat. Oh, what was his name? Colin Ham was the supervisor. It was Pat. Because it was Big Pat and Little Pat. Pat was the guy who owned it, and the son was, Little Pat was his son, funnily enough. Can't remember what his surname was, but he owned it. He was a not a guy you would mess with. I see him knock a couple of people out when there was trouble on the park. And I used to get on well with the bouncers that used to come down to do security at the weekends and that. I often wondered why he had them, because he didn't need them. But I was there in, when was I have been there? I joined the Air Force in 90. So I would have been there 88 to 89, I think. Glenn, bye, Jim. Big Steve, get a studio. I will not drive here. It's suicide. 300 pesos gets me where I want to go and back alive. Glenn, without wishing to offend anyone, don't you think Germans are up there on the unpopularity scale? Not globally, I don't think, but I could be wrong. I mean, listen, when I say things on this channel, it's just my, you know, anecdotal evidence. I don't know. But I think a lot of countries have forgiven and forgotten. And obviously, you've got to remember that they never really did anything in Asia. I mean, the Filipinos don't seem to have a problem with the Japanese, given some of the atrocities they did over here. But they're not really taught history. But I don't know. I mean, Germans aren't popular with English people. But are the Germans unpopular in Spain? I very much doubt it. They got on with Franco, didn't they? I mean, Germans are, it always surprised me when I was living in Holland how a lot of the Dutch did seem to have a problem with the Germans. Or a lot of Dutch people did. But I don't know, mate. I'm talking about in terms of the whole world. I'm talking about when I was in Saudi, you know, when I was over there in the Air Force. The Americans were not popular over there. They had one day a year called KIA, Kill an American Day. And the Americans couldn't leave base full stop when we were in Al-Kaj. Because they used to be dead jealous of us, because we used to work 4 days on, 4 days off. No, we didn't. We worked 6 days on, 3 days, 3 nights, 2 off. And we used to go down and stay in the British aerospace compounds on our days off. The Americans weren't allowed to leave base because the perception was that they were in more danger under terrorist attack. And the reason I know about that KIA, Kill an American Day, obviously it wasn't a national holiday, but we couldn't leave base that time because the worry was that we'd be mistaken for Americans. So, you know, when I say about Americans not being popular, I'm talking about in places like China but we're not anymore, you know, anyway, I'm just saying, I think realistically, British and America are up there with the countries that most people, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Nicholas, shepherd's pie and good evening from Buriram, Thailand. Good evening, mate. How are you? I was about to talk in Thai, and then, like I said to you before, I was gonna come out in Swedish. I thought I was speaking Thai, and I was gonna say "I'll do bra," but that's what I'm saying. I go in language mode, and I get really confused. It's no good. Yeah, sweaty crap. Honestly, I don't think Steve or party early mornings and the nature of wildlife is my thing. Okay, you're talking to Steve. Right, that makes sense. Jack Star, just outside where? Build a house and a site, a business project in a barn idea. That could work. Nice city wear, nice town wear. I had all my tattoos done in Ware. There used to be a really good tattooist there. I was in Arlo at the time. I used to go down and get my tattoos done there. And I had a friend that lived there, but I've not been in a long time. But it was a nice little town. That, yeah, land must be expensive there. I mean, yeah, barn working from home, that'd be a nice idea. But aren't you tempted to move? I suppose because you've got your daughters, haven't you? Aren't you tempted to do that in Asia somewhere? Well, obviously not, because you've been all that time up in Udon Thani. Yeah. Jack Star, if said person is winning, then I'm glad, as I must be the biggest loser in the world. Oh, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, I think you're talking about. Yeah, I got the guys. It's like, see, again, I've forgotten he was even on the stream. As someone else said, living rent free in your head. Yeah, and I don't understand why his channel is not bigger. Because I don't watch his channel, but all he does is basically slag off other YouTubers. And I was amazed the first time I heard he was criticising me, because I'm thinking, no one watches my channel. I only got 5,000 subscribers. But then someone else said in the comments when I mentioned him many moons ago, just ignore him because that's what they call it, Old Dog and all the others, they just ignore him, which I do. But it just goes to show you the biggest way to get views over here is to drop names or to say, if I started slagging off, I don't know, regular guy or Old Dog or something like that, God, you'd take off. So that guy, that's all he does is he just slags off other things. But he don't, I thought he'd have like 100,000 subscribers now. He'd be king of the trolls. But he's so bad at it. It's but there you go. Plaster Fingers. Butlins Majestic Holiday Camp. Good mate of mine was red cap over St. Athens. A red cap at St. Athens? I don't think he was. Don't have red caps at St. Athens. You might mean a white cap. What was his name? I was a white cap. Trying to think of the coppers I knew at St. Athens. John Cassidy. He was there because he came down to Stanmore Park when I was there. But yeah, white cap, I think you mean. Big Steve, honestly, you'll be okay here. When you said honestly, I thought you meant honestly as in you're not lying, but of course you're talking honestly uninterested, aren't you? Why are you thinking of coming here, honestly? Are you a single lady? Because very few don't get many single women, don't get many Western couples here, don't get many single Western women, which is a shame because you should do. But yeah, that's interesting if you're thinking of coming here by yourself. It could be a good move. Glenn, I worked with a guy last name Watt who moved to Ware, so he could be Watt from Ware. That's funny. Very good. Plaster Finger, Danny Kenny. That rings a bell. That does ring a bell. But the trouble is, I offer their names, and I think they know them because that Danny Kenny. That does ring a bell. I joined in 90. So if he was still in then, I may well, because it's not that big, there aren't that many RFPs, it's quite a small community. But Danny Kenny does ring a bell, but I couldn't swear to it. Honestly uninterested, yes, single. Well, there you go. I'm sure that you'll meet lots of young Filipino men here with sexy voices. Plaster Finger, think he was well before your time. He's in his late 50s now, lives in Tenby. Well, he may be, but that's the thing, you know. It's like I get friend requests on Facebook sometimes from people in the Air Force, and I think, I don't know this guy. I accept them, you know, if they got friends of friends. And it turns out I've done like a 2-year tour of them. And there are other people I think I recognise the name, and it's not them at all. You know, I'm terrible with names. But Danny Kenny does Danny Kenny definitely rings a bell. I will ask around on Facebook, because that rings a name, rings a bell. But it could be, yeah, I don't know. Chris, got to say, when looking for a wife, choose them in a little Bangkok and get someone educated. If you want someone sophisticated with good taste, they know the best places. Well, if that works for you, that works for you. But I know a lot of guys over here who've been married 20, 30 years plus, and their women are from Negros, and they're very happy. Depends what you're looking for, my friend. Big Steve, honestly, do you mind telling me your age? She already has told you her age. She doesn't mind. She told it on the channel the other day, but I let her reply. Rob Sanson, good morning. Break time at work. What do you do for a job? Morning, Rob. What do you do for a job, mate? Honestly uninterested. 69. I didn't know you were 69. I thought you were 65 for some reason. There you go. That's a brave move at your age, moving overseas by yourself. Good on you. Sound Australian now. Good on you, mate. Jackstar, my plan is still to hit Duma for 2 months, then 2 months travelling. Boots on the ground, best way to be. Need an ops director to run business side while I'm off and about, depending on my eldest daughter. Well, there you go. Good luck finding one. I'm not sure what it's like, the job market in the UK these days. Is it easy to find good people? I was talking to that couple the other day. She's an operations manager, and she was saying that it's really hard to get good people these days, that young kids, I'm going to sound old now, I'm not saying it, she's saying it, have got no work ethic, and their ideal employees are like all 50 plus, which surprised me, because there was a time back in the day, you know, when you reached 50, if you lost your job, you were considered unemployable. You know, when the old days of the coal mines and that, because that was the big sad story, wasn't it? You know, guys have worked in the mines all their life, and then they suddenly lost their jobs at 50 and no one wanted them. Apparently, she says it's the other way around now. Just saying what she said. No idea. I've not employed people in the UK for a long time, so I don't know. Rob Sanson, manufacturing. Well, there you go. I'm not going to press you, because you might not want to say what it is, but that covers a lot of things, manufacturing. That could be anything, mate. If you want to expand on that, a bit more detail, be nice to know. If you don't, I totally get it. Big Steve, honestly, you will be a youngster here, LOL. Not really, probably average. Motors and gear drives, there you go. You've already expanded on it there. So you're in the old auto industry. Plaster Finger, I won't post a pic here, but honestly uninterested. Thanks, Steve. Honestly uninterested. I look 59, so might fib about my age when I get there. I was told the other day I looked like I was 59. I was not happy. I think you'll love it here, honestly. I can tell from the chats we've had on here, when you come in, you've got a good sense of humour. And as Steve said, you will be about average age group. Rob Sampson worked in coal mines for 12 years. Oh, well, there you go. But that's coal mines over there, are they? Yeah. Very sad what happened to the coal industry in the UK, particularly up in Wales. Well, lots of the places I lived, and Wales, it was hit hard, but surprised when I moved to Leicester, because I was in Leicester for 14 years. Coalville and all the towns around there, and Derby and that, you know, they'd never recovered from the coal industry. So hopefully they have now, but, you know, they were just high unemployment, just like ghost towns, you know. When that industry went, the whole area collapsed. Wales, North England, Midlands particularly. I mean, yeah, bad. Big Steve, this island reminds me of the movie Cocoon. Big Steve, honestly, just a number. Jackstar, hope to bend a couple of my ex-army buddies. Yes, but yes, I agree. Work ethic is swearing at the woken youngs these days. I'm struggling to read now. I bought my eye drops just in case, but I do struggle to read when the laptop is far away. Indeed, worker demographics have changed immensely. Well, there you go. Good to know. When it all goes pear-shaped over here, I'll be able to go back and get a job. That has pleased me greatly. Right, well, we are getting close to the signing off now time, fellas, because the conversation has slowed down a bit and I have nearly finished my coffee. It's a shame our friend has left us, but he was doing his live stream at 9 o'clock, wasn't he? Yeah, he can slag me off in there. Well, it has been emotional, chaps. I have enjoyed the chat. It was nice that Brent joined us. I'm amazed how well he's recovered after that. Jackstar, thank you again so much, brother. You don't need to do it, but it's always appreciated. Glenn, you've been in from the beginning, mate. Thanks to all you. I'm not going to go through names because I'm going to forget someone. But Big Steve, honestly uninterested. Rob, Anders, really appreciate you joining the chats. It makes it all worthwhile. I enjoy our little chats. We will be back. And if I've missed anyone out there on the names, please don't take offence. It's just I am terrible with names. As soon as I finish the feed, I'll go in there and then it'll say you never said goodbye to whatever. And I think, oh damn. Tonight is a Monday night. Next week will be a Tuesday night. Back to the normal. So hopefully you'll all be here next Tuesday. And I might well do a live stream in between or two. Who knows? It's amazing when I do them at different times. I still get some of the old gang turn up. Glenn was there like the other day when I did one in the morning. So there we go. Cheers, Glenn and everyone else. Michael Greens, good night, everybody. Great chat, all the best. Glenn, thanks. Enjoy where you are. Enjoy where. Terrible at reading. Back to the grind. Yeah, don't work too hard, Rob. You don't want to bug yourself up. You've got to keep fit and strong for when you move over here, mate. So I'm going now, chaps. Thanks for everything. Thanks for smashing the like button. If you did smash the like button, thanks for coming. Even if you didn't smash the like button, whatever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe, be lucky.